let's go ahead and take a look at our maps for this matchup here. We're going to be going to Bind for the first map of the day, but you take a look at the map bans as well, courteous of our fantastic production staff here. And talk to me, War, what really stands out here?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting where Sunset is banned, because Sunset, obviously the new map of Valorant, a lot of teams don't have as much experience on this map. It's only been out for a few weeks. So it's interesting to see that as the last ban, but it looks like, I mean, that's just going to be what happens here. Obviously, there's some confidence issues on that map for some teams potentially, because they don't have as much time to play it. They don't have as much time to scrim it for say, but at the same time, I mean, I think Bind's a really balanced map. It's a good map to start out on.
Yeah, and you look towards OSU Gray's ban. I just want to thank them for banning Breeze. If we had to start the morning out on Breeze, I might have just clocked out to begin with. But nonetheless, again, going to Bind, talk to me a little bit about Bind, because obviously you have the teleporters that add some nice dimension. Where do you think this favors starting off on the attack?
I think it's good to start off on the attack, because I'd say Vine, especially with the compositions that are running current meta, is slightly more defender sided. So you want to start out on attack. You want to get a good footing on attack. If you can put up 6-7 rounds on attack, I think you're looking extremely solid for the defensive side of things. Obviously, a map where you're tending to run more of like a double controller composition, a composition that's a bit more protective of A and B site. I know Viper is a very, very common pick, as well as Killjoy on this map. So we'll have to see exactly when the compositions come out what both these teams are trying to do. However, I think it's still overall a very good and very balanced map. Obviously not too one-sided in any means.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very balanced out. And I kind of like, again, the teleporters. It adds some nice dimension. I like it from a defensive side, because obviously if you have a team attacking on B and you're all the way over at A, usually it would take a long time to get a rotation going. But no, you can just hit the teleporter, you can get back on, and those are going to cause some quick engagements. Also on the attacker side, could look for some quick rotations, maybe some crafty plays on that side of things. And you talked about the importance of the controllers here, obviously laying down those smokes, segmenting out those sites on the attacker side, but more so trying to lock down those sites and create a barrier for entry towards the attacker side if you're on the defensive side here. Talk to me maybe a little bit more about the compositions here. What agents do you want to see maybe outside of the controller picks?
As I said, I think I want a Killjoy and a Sky. I think are both huge on Bind, just specifically because those picks, you have Killjoy for a great setup on the B site specifically. It can really deny presence in hookah. It can deny the site extremely well when they're jumping out of hookah, which is the most common engagement on the B side of things. And the Sky, mostly for the information. You can really get a lot of value out of the dog. You can really get a lot of value. It looks like we are going to see Skies on both sides. And just a bit of controller action, not double controller though, which I think is actually double controller from the attacker side, which is going to be Akron Gold.
Yeah, that Harbor pick coming out here. I'm very interested to see that one, because obviously Harbor, one of the newer agents, not necessarily a brand new agent. We know how to play him nowadays, but it's an interesting pick to come out nonetheless, kind of segmenting things out. Otherwise, almost a mirror composition across the board here, if my eyes are not deceiving me. And you see the double controller picks coming out as well. It's going to be an interesting play. Let's get into it.
One of the things I'm most interested about is Akron Gold going for a stereotypically more aggressive composition with that double duelist composition. They're opting for no sentinel, and that's typically a composition you'll see more ran on a split map. And obviously OSU Gray with this chamber pick isn't the strongest sentinel in the game, but I'm really looking to see them get aggressive towards site. There's a lot of things you can do with this Reyna Sky combo. The double flash is almost impenetrable if you can time it right.
Yeah, a lot of potential here between both of these compositions, but folks, let's not stall. Let's get on into the action. It's the Game Arena Valorant Act 2 tournament here today and now. Akron starting off on the attack here, and immediate pressure being sent over towards that site, and they're going to meet a lot of resistance here. Routing the corner, Comet will drop, PokeChamp will find one. Back and forth we go in the feed, and ultimately Akron having a little bit of room to work with here over towards the B site.
And then you're going to realize they have site completely cleared out. OSU's decision, stack 3 on A, is not going to pay off at the start, and now Akron's going to be able to get the plant down, and they still have a decent amount of util, especially with that Reyna up on pistol rounds. The ability to overheal is massive.
Yeah, and now OSU trying to enter from one singular hallway. Not a lot of dimension to this retake potentially here. And of course, as you said, Akron with the player personnel advantage. And there you go. Akron getting so much information, cursed with 2, and it comes down to Psychotic Pomp, a 1v3 situation for him. Not only does he have to clutch it up with 22 HP, but he has that spike to deal with as well, rounding the corner. And well, he's not even going to go ahead and go for it. Instead, just going to let the round expire, and wisely so, as Akron will take the first round.
Yeah, when you're stuck in halls, you're basically pinched out. Nothing you can do. I think everybody realizes where he is, but nothing you can do in that situation. So Akron's going to take the first pistol, and we know pistols can be very indicative of what the future is, especially in these next upcoming rounds. Akron's going to go onto a bye, and looks like OSU is going to go for a classic save here.
Yeah, you kind of have to if you're OSU. You got to save up those credits on the side of Akron. Of course, you expect them to take this round here and take it in convincing fashion as well on that attacker side. And again, as you said, this really sets the momentum for Akron early on. I'm looking towards that third round, though, because obviously when you look at Akron, they're going to have the buys here, but they're going to have the buy disadvantage in that third round. Assuming everything pans out the way that we expect it to, pressure early on being sent over towards that A site, though.
Yeah, one of the things you look to do on a pistol round if you're OSU Gray is to just find whatever pick you can. If you can isolate somebody with utility and maybe even trade 1 for 2 or 2 for 1, it can be massive because you can get guns online. You can get sort of some major damage to the potential bonus round coming up next. But we have Deaton dealing damage like that. I mean, that's going to be massive and instantly gets healed up by Sky.
Yeah, shower rooms there kind of became a bloodbath, and instantly OSU Gray thrust into a 3v5. And as you said, they're just looking for any pick possible that they could get. Psychotic Pomp might have the opportunity to do so, but the right clicks will not land, and it continues to matriculate in the feed the way of Akron Esports. Last player standing is Orange Dinos, and all he has is the Sheriff. 1 bullet. Can he connect? No, he cannot. 47 HP. Everybody running down his throat. Roggle will call the round, and a flawless out of Akron. And that's not necessarily what you want to see out of OSU. Again, given the fact that you're looking for any picks that you can get in that round, not taking any, it's kind of boding a little bit unfortunate their way, you could argue.
But I really like the way that Akron Gold played that. They didn't push up early on their bone, like effectively around that they have the advantage on. They waited, they saw OSU Gray take the presence in showers, and then they were managing to pick them off the early aggression. They played a sort of split up play style, and it ended up working out. They didn't lose a life, and this is going to be big now that they're on a bonus and Akron's on a full buy, or OSU's on a full buy. They definitely have a chance to take this round.
Yeah, as you mentioned at OSU, they have a lot of artillery here compared to Akron Esports, and that's the interesting thing about that third round coming off of a 2-round win. PokeChamp around the corner will be able to hit for 1, but not going to be able to get the spray exchange onto Orange Dinos, and here we go. OSU starting to catch some fire early in the round as they're granted player personnel advantage. And now Akron Esports put up against a wall here, not too sure where they want to go with it.
Yeah, they have players towards every site. It's sort of a default setup. It's a very, very slow pace for Akron Esports Gold, but that's typically just how they play. Now looking like they're going to be rotating towards the B site. This is going to be a very good read. Orange Dinos, the really last standing member on this site. He's going to be able to see the blind, tug himself into the corner, has the TP to reset himself as well, but going to be flashed through, going to need to get out of this position, playing for his life, wants to keep the numbers advantage up on Akron Esports. Yeah,
but they are rolling straight on towards him. The blind comes out as well, but luckily the reinforcements will come in time. And there you have it. OSU Gray, a convincing round in round number 3 there. Keep themselves within the early game.
And I love that discipline from OSU Gray. Sometimes that situation, you want to take the peek, you want to catch them at a disadvantage, but it's not always the best thing to do. You can't always take on the 1v4 by yourself. The fact that Dino was able to back up, get out, and then wait for his team to come in, it really enabled his team. They got good picks, and now the momentum is about even. This round is going to be a big deciding round because whoever loses this round is going to have to make some tough economic decisions.
Yeah, the economy in peril here for whoever doesn't manage to take this round. And the first even footing that we've seen since round one, that pistol round here, is Akron going to be sending some pressure early on towards that B site, sending in early utility, trying to get any information that they possibly can out of it. And it's a very interesting look here out of OSU as they don't have a lot of players rotating over towards the site, despite the fact that Akron is applying that early pressure here, but could potentially see that change, and the rotation looking very interesting in Akron's backlines.
And it's crazy. They've just taken so much space. Cursed maybe reading into this, though. They've seen the stereotypical teleport. She sees the guns. He's going to be able to find one, but Cheese Squirrel gets the trade back. And now Akron's in a tough position. They realize, oh, some of our spawn's been taken. They have less room to operate. Cheese Squirrel did opt to back up there, but now they have to do the re-clears of their own spawn before they even look to push into A site.
Yeah, this is getting very mixy here for Akron, especially with the way that they are all set up. Cheese Squirrel still holding strong over towards that A site, as is the rest of OSU, and looks to be where Akron might want to take this. PokeChamp will send in some early utility, put that wall up, and try and gain some sort of separation for a squad, but another player drops on the side of Akron Esports, and now you just have to get that spike down and hope to God that you can do something here. Instead, you won't be able to. You have to hit that rotation over towards the B site, and this might actually work for the Akron Esports Gold.
That snakebite lineup basically told Akron Esports they have to push off. Whoever sent that, it was absolutely massive. Now it's a tough position, but we're going to make it a 3v3 for now. D10 holding on to site. One of the players, PokeChamp, is so low. A single bullet, even through a wall, would take him out.
And how the turns have tabled here, though. Akron Esports, they have site control, but every corner you look, you see an OSU Gray player. Cheese Squirrel will finish PokeChamp off, and Akron once again put behind the wall, backs against the wall. D10 will find one, find two, and it becomes a 1v1. 1v1 here for D10, only 16 HP and a dream. Cheese Squirrel will find him, suffocate his dream in a 4K in the round to secure the round for OSU as the defuse comes through.
That was a big round for OSU. I really love their setup there. I think it was Psychotic Pump who did send in that snakebite onto site and basically force Akron Esports off. So even though Harbor Alt invested on site, a ton of util invested on site, they managed to basically force off the default plant, which forced the rotation from Akron Esports Gold. And when time is looking like that, it is super important that they managed to get them off the site and turn it around.
Yeah, such a heads-up play on the side of the Viper there. Psychotic Pump really securing the round in the early round for OSU, but now Akron, they're the team with the economic disadvantage. And Orange Dinos, if you had walls there, you would have been able to hit the collat of a lifetime. Instead, is PokeChamp with the first kill on the board and now gaining some site control here, as there's very little for OSU to hold on the defense towards that B site. The rotation is coming, but it needs to come quickly.
It's goal of the operator to sort of hold this angle down, but now he's forced into hulls. Now he's forced into an extremely tight angle. Squid's coming at him as well. There's really nothing you can do. An amazing swing from D10. Showstopper's online as well, but Psychotic Pump's gonna be able to pick it up, and another one too. Massive plays, bringing it down to a 3v3 on site. Cheese Squirrel with his ultimate as well. That Showstopper's gonna be big, and Cheese Squirrel absolutely popping off. Now it's just on Cursed, the last player standing for Akron Esports, and Cheese Squirrel says, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm gonna take back the site with ease.
That was a wild round out of OSU Gray. Hold on there, because Cheese Squirrel putting the team on his back again after clutching that round for OSU Gray in the 1v1. Now 3 kills on the board. This man is unstoppable, War.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see exactly how they are playing this defense, because it feels like the tendency is, okay, now we see some switch ups. Now we're seeing the Viper go over towards the B site, because the tendency for OSU Gray was to always play for the retake, and the retake has been amazing for Cheese Squirrel thus far. The tough thing is they're always pushing towards B side. Akron always is tending towards B, so it's interesting that they're kind of keeping 2 players over at that direction.
Very interesting spread across the map here, and once again, Akron, if it did work the first time, might as well try it again, sending the pressure over towards that B site early on. Not going to be able to get some early picks this go around, though. Instead, the Viper wall is going to segment out the site, as is the rest of the walls here that we are seeing. Akron will find their way onto the site, but it's going to be a mixy mosh pit here. Still 5v5, and Spike going down.
This time it's a different tendency from OSU Gray. They're going to be sending 2 players through TP, most likely, and they're going to wait on the retake. The time is going to be extremely important factor in this case. Battle towards Hookah is going to happen right now. Mericris is going to get traded out. With Psychotic Pump on site, putting in absolute work.
2v3, it comes down to a 1v3 here is the future of this squad, all on the back of Cursed. Will be able to find one and sends in that ultimate to deny the spike. Planted the spray transfer to go as well. Cursed putting the team on his back. 3 kills on the board, and the round secured the way of Akron Gold. What a round out of him.
That orbital strike was absolutely massive. The place he put himself in when he activated it was so niche. I believe he might have even smoked himself in that situation to say, okay, I'm just going to play in this corner. I got orbital strike. I'm going to let them push me. I'm going to push them off the site with my ultimate, and then I can just clean up from there. But you still have to be good enough to, hit those shots to be able to take the 2v1, and he did that with style.
Yeah, no, that style points definitely being granted his way as Akron evening things up 3 apiece now. And now they have that economic advantage as well. You start to see a lot of interesting things matriculating in this early round stage of the map. And again, that B hit continues to be the strategy for Akron, but they're going to lose a player early on. It's going to give OSU Gray a lot of room to work with as Akron looking to maybe reconsider their approach here on the attacker side.
Well, it's so hard. Psychotic Pump with that Viper's Pit up on B long. That was the main place that Akron Esports was basically exploiting throughout this entire time. So that gives their chamber player a lot of space to really hold down A as well. Now Akron Esports sort of forced to go towards A. A bit of a jump spot from Alpha. You're going to realize, oh yeah, this is where the fight's going. But Orange Dinos is going to be the first one to find a pick. That's on a Curse. That's a big one.
Yeah, Appaloosa, lots of good information granted from that Jiggle Peak there. Gives the opportunity for the chamber to swing and get that kill. And now Akron Esports continue to lose out in the player personnel department here. Appaloosa will be getting healed up. There's so many players here in Chandelier. Roggle and Arcuous will find 2. Roggle looking for the 3rd, gets denied. And now you have the rotation. And you have Psychotic Pump as the only defensive player here over towards that B site, but he has a judge in hand, and he will put in the work, put in the hours, take what is his, as Roggle will eventually fall as well. OSU Gray hold on to the lead.
Psychotic's Pump's defensive reads have been so good. They opt to leave the Viper's Pit, camp underneath with the judge. I don't even think he started the round with the judge. He picked it up from one of his fallen teammates, but the reads have just been amazing. And now Akron Esports Gold is the team that's forced onto the back foot, forced onto a save. And this action, this dynamic between these teams is really unprecedented. It is so close. It is the 4 seed versus the 5 seed, so you do expect a lot of close action. But at the same time, I mean, it's a great start to Bind.
Yeah, it's a heavyweight bout between these two teams. Back and forth we go, but OSU Gray holding on strong to the lead here. And again, that economic advantage being granted their way as well. It's going to spell some really nice potential for this round here to potentially gain even more momentum, keep that pendulum shifting their way here, and all the pressure now being sent over towards the A side. This is a new look out of Akron Esports.
Definitely a new look. We don't know how they're going to approach it, but Psychotic Pump's going to deny really any approach at all. They have a great control of main. Cheese Squirrel's the only person that's holding on to this bath positioning and doing it with a Bucky nonetheless. So a very flimsy hold, but they're definitely going to be able to get some big damage. Psychotic Pump takes one down before getting traded out with that raise nade. Feels like Akron Esports is just stuck at the moment, though. They have all their players towards bath and really no good position to breach the site with.
Yeah, they're continuing to try and make an A hit here, now potentially shifting over towards the main side of the hit. And again, in a round like this, you're really just looking to take kills. You already have that 1 kill from that trade off the raise, but ideally some more could do some economic damage here on the side of Akron Esports. PokeChamp will be poking out, trying to find maybe one head, but it's going to be very, very difficult the way that OSU has this setup going. The teleport will be the play. Now you have to hit that rotation as Orange Dino's the lone player over towards this site to lock it down. Rounding the corner, and they don't check the corner. They don't check the corner. Cheese Squirrel will call the round. It's Orange Dinos with 2 to lock it down, and some good economic damage, all things considered, but the round going the way of OSU Gray, as we very much expected.
And it was a very solid play from OSU Gray to sort of keep Orange Dinos towards that B site and expect the rotation. Akron Esports, I don't know if they've really ever gotten onto the E site or gotten onto the A site, gotten the plant down. So it's good that you really have that anchoring player, especially the Sentinel player in the chamber, to lock down the site, set up your team well, and then even if you can't get everybody, Cheese Squirrel's so good at those potential frags. To the lineup being set up from OSU Gray, potentially going to swing on that as well, but I don't know if they know. Oh my gosh, Orange Dinos through the smoke, through all the util, finds one, and everybody else is left in hookah.
Again, we just keep on seeing Akron lose out in the early round exchanges. PokeChamp will even things out, and now getting aggressive over towards the B site once again. If it's not broken, do not fix it. That's what Akron learned in the last round, and they're going to look to set this thing up with the plant going down. And the way that OSU lost out on site control so quickly, it looked like they had things down, but no, instead, it's going to have to be a pincer play on the retake here, and you see that pressure on both sides of the equation here. Akron's going to have to check every corner imaginable. Comet sending in some shots, not going to connect. Instead, will find Cursed, and now opens things up for OSU Gray to funnel on in.
OSU Gray attacking from two sides. They had control of Gardens at the start of this round, and Comet's able to use it massively. Because Akron Esports didn't funnel through main, they weren't really able to control Gardens. They left two players inside of Gardens the entire time, and OSU Gray with an amazing split push, so well executed on the back of Comet to pick up those frags and propel his team to 6.
Yeah, Comet really coming in huge, and OSU Gray, now they have all of that momentum swinging their way, especially in the economy as well, as we see a light buy coming out on the side of Akron Esports. The only things they got really going for them is that Reyna and Sky ultimate, 2 ultimates online to the one of OSU Gray, but when you have that Brim ultimate online, we have already seen the value that that can carry on the other side of the equation here. Appaloosa might look to find the similar value here, but nonetheless, definitely have a lot of momentum going the way of OSU Gray, and now Akron just deciding to charge it down over towards the A site. Not very advisable as D10 drops the Cheese Squirrel, and not going to be able to gain much whatsoever here as the Brim ultimate will solidify the A hold here for OSU Gray.
Now OSU Gray has really forced all of Akron Esports into this Cubby and this Lamps position. They are all just so isolated, so awkward in their positioning. Cheese Squirrel's just able to benefit on this, and the more he benefits, the more utility he's gonna get. Psychotic Pump's holding down the other side, but no, Mago gets the trade through. Cheese Squirrel's coming up absolutely massive. Has 3 at the moment, though. Looking for a 4 and 5.
Yeah, Cheese Squirrel finds the 4th, could potentially find the 5th here as Roggle only on 10 HP. Could we see the first ace of the day? No, we do not. Comet will steal it, and you gotta assume the comms are a little bit salty there, but you can't be too salty about taking a round and having this much momentum if you are OSU Gray. That being said, though, you take a look at Akron. They now have the buys, and they have 4 ultimates online on their side of the equation here. Decided to hold on to every single ultimate last round, understanding the fact that they were on that eco. Now this could be the round that they could find themselves back into the mix with.
With 2 rounds left and all of this ultimate progress that they have, they really need to set up something big here. Interesting decision to opt towards A, but they're really reading into the split well. Currently only 2 players towards A. Appa and Cheese Squirrel always so good at holding down this area. They always go so aggressive, but I don't think they know that A main is just completely wide open.
Yeah, and you see that rotation coming in from the sky might be able to occupy that A main side and provide a little bit more support here, as you typically see Akron make their presence known over towards the B side very early on. Whenever they make an A hit, it feels like they're playing it super slow, so you might have some early indications if you are OSU Gray on the strategy of Akron. But again, I'm taking a look at those 4 ultimates here, Warren. Things can get very dicey depending on where they take it.
And they still have a lot of time on the clock, still have a lot of potential to do something big. Interesting, they're keeping Roggle on the A site, maybe to fake some presence, maybe to just shoot a boombot to check. They're all shifting towards the B site. It's a slow shift, but I mean, like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The B main hit has been absolutely massive, and finally some util thrown down towards B.
Yeah, but it almost feels like even with the B main hit, they're just walking straight into where OSU Gray is going to want them, because the B retake has been equally as good as the B main hit. 25 seconds left on the board in Akron. They have to hit the left foot, right foot express. They have to make a move, a decision here. Orange Dinos will get some chip damage off, provide some room for Comet to swing out, finds that first kill on the board, and now time ticking away into the red. The rotation is on through showers, but Cheese Squirrel firing through, finding one, and time is going to be the extra player for the side of OSU Gray as they find a flawless on the round. That fell apart for Akron.
I mean, they just ran out the clock. They took a extremely slow rotate towards B, realized that B was completely covered to absolute perfection, and then they just didn't know what to do. And they're going to take a timeout before the last round of attack as well. They really need to pick something up here. Obviously, you talk about a 9-3 curse. I don't think that's the situation here. I think that OSU Gray is just picking up steam. They're figuring out what Akron Esports is good at doing, and they're putting a lot of pressure onto that. They're denying the B hits. They're denying the plant on A just to perfection throughout this entire tournament. They have essentially Akron Esports locked down. I want to see sort of what the comms are for Akron Esports, and I want to see what the switch-ups are going to be.
I also want to see what the economy is on the side of Akron Esports, because they did do a full buy last round. Now potentially off the foot of that, might be in an economic disadvantage here. And again, just this is a timeout that is very, very necessary. You briefly mentioned the 9-3 curse war. I think you are living inside of my head, but I'm not going to call it. That being said, though, OSU Gray rattling off the last 5 rounds, looking ever so good. And we take a look at the economy now. Akron, they are on a very small buy. Not a lot of room to work with here. Those 3 ultimates are going to be huge in this round. And OSU Gray popping the chamber ultimate. Oh, it is getting nasty.
Yeah, and they have so much util to work with on the side of OSU Gray. It's just about how they approach it. Akron Esports is going to go back to this B hit. Skyflash just actually isn't going to hit anything, so don't know about the presence yet, but a bit of Harbor util is going to be the indication. And Psychotic Pump, even though he has the economy to do whatever he wants, opting for the judge. I don't think anybody's going to really expect this one. Finds 1, finds 2. That's Hookah shut down. But PokeChamp's on the site. D10 with the Showstopper. Doesn't find anything. A bit of util thrown. Not going to be good enough.
And Akron with site control now, but how long will that last? Again, OSU Gray just seamlessly collapses on them every single time we have seen this. They have the player personnel advantage swinging their way as well. This is going to be very, very tough, as Orange Dinos will find another PokeChamp, keeping the hopes alive, though, for Akron Esports as he finds 1, finds 2, and now is the last player standing here. No, Acuus will find another and another, and Akron will hold on strong. It's 8-4 entering the swap.
And that's a big round for morale, for mental, just for the overall Akron. You needed that round. That round was absolutely critical in making it 8-4. And that's something that is potentially a momentum shift as Akron moves towards the defender side and OSU moves towards the attacker side. Now, I think an important thing to mention is I feel like Akron's composition with the double duelist is a lot more attacker-sided, and OSU's composition a little bit more defender-sided. So now that they're switching over to the side that they feel a little bit less comfortable with, it's interesting to see exactly what they're going to go with.
Yeah, and as you said, a lot riding on this pistol round here. Akron maybe gaining a little bit of momentum heading into this, and if they can secure this pistol round, logically speaking, they could very well secure the following round, find themselves right back into the mix of this, and Appaloosa, my goodness, the head taps are crisp out of him. D10 will respond, but it's a 3v4 in the early round here, and Akron once again backed up against a wall as OSU Gray now starting to apply the pressure over towards that A site where D10 is one of the only players standing. Will find another curse will come through. Checkerboard in the feed leaves just PokeChamp. It's the last player standing on the defensive side, and he's nowhere near that A site right now.
One thing to mention is PokeChamp's been so good in these clutch situations. I believe maybe even built 3 Reckonings. And I love that util to really block off the chamber util as well. 1 hit is sometimes all you need. Has wall up as well. Sees where Appa is, but no, Appa's gonna take it back on Poke. But that was a very close round. That came down to the wire.
Yeah, no, those crispy head taps were across the board there, but ultimately it's Appaloosa who starts things off and ends it strong. OSU Gray holding on to that momentum, and now you see Akron Esports potentially going for a small buy of their own to try and mirror out OSU Gray, who has so much momentum granted their way from that one round. It's starting to look very, very dicey here for Akron. They just need to hold on to something. This, again, might be the strategy here in this round. Just try and gain anything that you possibly can out of this.
That's sometimes what you have to do, though. You sometimes have to take a buy that's a bit more risky to see if you can get your team some sort of momentum on the defensive side. Last round, they went for a 3-man push up B on defense, and that cost them. So this time, I think they're definitely going to hold back a bit. They're definitely going to play it a lot safer because they have these guns. They can manage to get the gun at this point in time. It's going to be good, but oh my God, Icarus holding into this position, investing everything in it, it's going to be worth it.
Whew. Checkerboard in the feed to kick things off. OSU Gray, though, granted the player personnel advantage and the site as well. Akron Esports now on the rotation in through main, and you just got to throw bodies at this point if you are them. At this point, Judge in hand with D10, just trying to find anything that he possibly can to swing things back their way. Cursed could potentially find this kill if the wall goes down in time, and you're just grasping at straws at this point if you are Akron, but those straws are really easy to hold on to as you now turn it into a 2v2, and D10, maybe a nice read here, could potentially find the kill, will do so. So now Akron in the driver's spot here, still need that defuse to go. Orange Dinos will deny and deny the clutch as OSU Gray break into that 10-point barrier.
I feel like I'm seeing deja vu at some point in time because I'm pretty sure it's Orange Dino. Actually, no, it was Appa who did that, or no, it was Cursed who did that last couple rounds ago, but it's good push from OSU Gray to really get themselves back on site. And even though their team was low, they had the personnel disadvantage and they're able to effectively hold on to the site for long enough. So now double digits for OSU Gray and very strong positioning.
Yeah, and all they need is 3 more rounds to go their way. Akron, you're going to have to climb Mount Everest if you are them. Sheriffs in hand, that risky buy that we talked about definitely did not pan out in the grand scheme of things, although you maybe did a little bit of economic damage over towards OSU Gray. You're not going to do enough, and not enough to secure the round either. So, again, just the pit, it continues to dig itself at this point.
And it's definitely slow out of both teams here. OSU Gray still on their bonus round, and it's going to be a very scrappy bonus, but they know they're going to have better monetarily than Akron Esports, even despite the double loss bonus. Still realize the situation that they're in. Still realize what they have to do with it.
Oh, very, very Akron. The aggression here out of Akron. Cheese Squirrel will deny it, and maybe unwarranted out of Akron, as now they lose player personnel over towards that B site, which is exactly where OSU in the early round is looking to occupy. Another kill coming through, another head tap out of Appaloosa. What else is new? And a very interesting decision here, hitting the rotation over towards the A site with the teleporter. It's going to completely throw Akron for a loop.
That's a great read. That is an amazing read. All of Akron was in their spawn. They gave up on A site. They're like, there's no way OSU goes back to A site, right? No, that's the thing about Bind. You can TP at any point in time. You can make your way across the entire map within seconds, and you can force Akron into such a awkward position. Left to recontest.
Oh, so crafty out of OSU. Last player standing is Roggle. He's found 1, found 2. Could he find 3 more? It's going to have to be a Herculean effort out of him because he also has to contend with that spike. Are you kidding me, Roggle? What the hell was that? Straight through the wall. It doesn't matter that you lose the round. Put that clip on Reddit. My God.
That was disgusting by Rob.
That was awful.
I mean, you lose the round, but still, you got something to go with it. You got a bit of a montage clip right there. But situation for Akron remains the same, but this time they're gonna have guns online. They're gonna have what they need. But OSU Gray's economy is still looking. Actually, it's looking a bit awkward, especially because with they're still able to trade out. It's usually 1-2 players left standing for OSU Gray. So it's actually going to be an Akron Esports Gold advantage and an early ultimate used out.
Yeah, very interesting decision to use that ultimate. Doesn't look like it's gaining a lot of value either. And Take a look over towards that A site where basically everybody is occupying at this stage of the round here. And as you said, Akron definitely have an advantage here early on and continue to be granted that advantage as D10 finds the kill off on a Psychotic Pump, is going to potentially put a halt to the push for OSU Gray here. It's just a very interesting look all around as Akron defending over towards the A site, but still not willing to give up on that B site, despite the fact that OSU Gray have not even looked in that direction yet.
Always want to be wary, especially on bind. You never know exactly where the engagement's going to be. D10 still using utility. Just hold off this main push. She's going to get healed up a bit of a jump spot. See what he can find. It's going to be a showstopper. That's going to effectively force the team off, and it's going to find Curse from long range. That was across the entire site. A three-pointer, and it's going to hit. D10 gets trade back. Reckoning is invested from Akron Esports. Let's see what they can find with it.
Yeah, now Akron trying to hold strong over towards this A site, but now OSU Gray hitting the left foot, right foot express, and the teleporter over towards the B site. Rogel reading it, but not able to read the kills. Will not find anything there as the site completely opens itself up. Next man to bat up is going to be PokeChamp. Looking to find one as the spike does go down. Akron now in a player personnel disadvantage once again. Arceus will even things up though. Now the retake, the pincer is on over towards the flower area. Is OSU Gray playing this very, very smart? Arceus, not a lot of HP to rely on either, so it's going to be very, very tough for Akron, who needs to not only retake this, they need to get the defuse, and PokeChamp will fall. The early defuse is not the strategy here. The spike tap is in, but it's not going to be granting a lot out of this, as OSU Gray will play this to perfection. They will take the round. Match point online for them.
And OSU Gray's reads onto exactly where Akron's rotating is so good. They know when to stick on a site and they know when to rotate. They do such a good job of faking and execute in one place and then completely switching it up, completely going to an open site after they've gotten some picks and they've pulled some rotates across. They are reading this map to perfection. It feels like they have the Akron Esports playbook in their back pocket.
Yeah, no, to say that Akron is up against a wall is an understatement here, because now they have to force overtime. That means they have to win 8 of the next 8 rounds. They have no room for error whatsoever. Luckily, they do have a bye in their cards, but Rogel is going to find himself in a very precarious spot here as he continues to get pelted by the nades and very low HP. Comet will find the information knowing that he is still there. Luckily be able to get healed up by his Sky, but still, OSU Gray not losing any footing whatsoever.
Rogel basically opting to tank the nade just to hold on to this B main control. But OSU Gray is just starting it out so slow. They're not going quick. They're not saying, oh, we have the lead. Let's just brown rush the site and hope it works out. Spike is still towards their spawn at the moment. They're waiting for the Akron Esports characteristic aggression, and Akron's just not giving it.
Yeah, it's very interesting here, and again, OSU Gray almost playing with their prey at this point. 47 seconds left on the board, and they haven't even made it over towards the site. That is unprecedented out of them. And again, as you said, might just be trying to bait out Akron, but Akron, again, knowing the situation, knowing the circumstances that they find themselves in, are not going to take the bait. Instead, be very defensive. And, well, as we say, Curse getting a little bit too aggressive. Orange Dinos will find, and now the kills matriculating the way of OSU Gray. PokeChamp will find one to even the score, but that being said, the A site completely and utterly wide open. You don't have the spike just yet, but your teammate is coming through with it, and OSU Gray, they can see the finish line. They just have to play against the time. They will. Spike going down, and now Akron have to play retake. None of them over towards that A site.
I think Akron expected a around the world play. I think they expected some type of crazy rotate, and they were sort of banking on it because they had all their players there. They're going to have 3 to retake with, but it's going to be a while, especially when 2 of those players are pushing through teleporter, have to clear out a ton of space before they can even get on site. PokeChamp looking for it right now. Showstopper does come in from D10, though. That's going to find one.
Oh, and now the timing, it becomes very essential here. Cheese Squirrel will find another Comet with one on the board as well. Just leaves D10, who has to hit the sprite transfer. He will. Still one player to contend with, a 1v1. And where is Appaloosa? That is the question that he is just continuing to ask himself. The Molly will come in, and that will do it. Nothing you can do if you are D10. A valiant effort. But nonetheless, OSU Gray advances. They have a date with the Akron Zips.
And OSU Gray, I mean, they looked so good on that map.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, they started out close. It started out 3-3 at one point in time, and then they're like, "Yeah, you know what'd be funny if we just didn't let up a round, like make it close for the casters at the start, and then let's just like steamroll the rest of their way."
Yeah,
I
they
think
baited us a little bit.
I'm scared for Akron Gold. I mean, I know they're a good team, but with the way OSU Gray looked, I don't know what the map decision is going to be. I don't know what the comp decisions are going to be, but they are playing very well today.
Yeah, and again, just the interesting thing about that is you alluded to it at one point. It's the 4 and 5 seed going up against each other. That's the closest you can get in the early matchups. And well, this affair was not close whatsoever. And actually, OSU Gray, the 5th seed, taking down the 4th seed Akron Gold, who go into that elimination bracket and now have to make that lower bracket run. But you're still not done with Akron if you are OSU Gray. You still have the Akron Zips, who are coming off of that first round bye. And we alluded to these players earlier, War. These guys are absolutely ruthless. The job's not finished just yet for OSU Gray by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, we still have a large bracket to play over, but OSU Gray showing that the underdogs can become the champions. Obviously, a big task ahead of them as we do get the bracket update. We see OSU Gray going to be moving on to face off against Akron Esports. Sussy Players, the 2 seed, manages to have a very nice victory against the 7 seed. They're going to be moving on to the winners semifinals, and OSU Scarlet versus BGSU Orange yet to be decided, probably in their match at this moment.
Yeah, and it's just a very interesting kind of spread here because, again, 13-3, 13-4, obviously Sussy Players versus Valhalla. That's a little bit more of a spread there, 2-7 seed. You expect Sussy Players to come out, but nonetheless, it's a very interesting look early on in the bracket. Of course, we have Akron Esports taking on OSU Gray coming up at some point, and then we're waiting on our next matchup as well between who's going to take on Sussy Players in the winter qualifiers. And War, again, it's just that was just business as usual for OSU Gray.
Yeah, and they looked in massive form, especially Cheese Squirrel. I think they're MVP of that match. At one point in time, I looked at his score line, and he had a 3.0 KD, and he was doing massive things. On the retake on B, it feels like I could comment on like 3 or 4 retakes on B that he pulled off, just throwing the nade in, sending it onto site, satchels to maybe trade his teammate or just force space by himself. It was to absolute perfection.
Well, now we have an interview ready to go here. It is Comet from the side of OSU Gray. And talk to me. How you guys feeling after that win?
Oh, we're feeling great. It was a great team win. I'm really excited just to be here playing today. You know, we're right down the road, so it feels like our home turf, and we're feeling really excited. The team played well for our first match, so yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now.
So talk to me a bit about this team and sort of how your chemistry has evolved. How long have you been playing on the team yourself, and how have you guys improved over time?
Yeah, so I'm new to the team as of this year, and so are like 3, so including me, 3 of our 5 for our team. So we only had 2 returning players. We started practicing over the beginning, like essentially the beginning of semester back in like August, September. So we've grown a lot. We've kind of figured out what kind of team we want to be. And at this point, I think we're in a good spot because the season, at least for C-Val and then GA-Val here, is going to start. So we're looking pretty excited and ready to go for those leagues.
Talk to me about those defensive retakes over towards the B site, because it felt like at points you guys were almost wanting them to take the site and then just leaving it into the retake. Is that kind of the strategy there when you have a team take onto that site?
Yeah, so we like to set up our chamber long with maybe an operator, or at least his teleport, and I'd be flashing him onto that angle, and there's counterplay to that. The enemy team could just harbor wall, and that's what they were doing, and it worked pretty well. But we decided, all right, it's probably just best to play off and play our retake, because the other team kind of forfeits the rest of the map when they decide to all run up B long. So like we can get some flanks through hookah, we can just come CT. It's really strong, and especially when we have players like G Squirrel and Appaloosa, they're just balling out on the retakes. So
yeah, and obviously you defeated one Akron team. As you know, you're going to be going up against another Akron team here. What's sort of the game plan going against the 1 seed overall in this tournament?
I'm not gonna lie. Akron Akron's a little scary, but we're gonna be confident. It's a best of 3, so we have some time to play with, and it should be fun. We're just gonna play hard and really look to compete. That's all we're looking for. We scrim our Scarlet team so much that we're used to playing against better talent, and we'll do our best and play through.
Again, just fantastic performance out of you guys, riding the high of a 13-4 victory to kick the day off. And again, wishing you guys the best of the luck against Akron, and excited to see how that eventually does turn out. And well, that was a fantastic way to kick the day off, or both of these teams really showing up, but in the end, OSU Gray finding the victory early on in the day, and just fantastic way to kick things off, guys.
Thank you very much.
All right, and I do believe we are going to be sending it to a very, very quick break here, but do not go anywhere. This is the Game Arena Valorant Act 2, and it is early goings. You do not want to miss a second of the action.